The old photograph showed two children standing side by side. Emma and Olivia were their names, and they had been inseparable since kindergarten. The caption read, "Best friends forever." But one day, a mistake was made that would change the course of their lives forever. It started with just 1 second's hesitation in choosing which toy to play with first. A split-second decision that seemed insignificant at the time but ultimately led to an irreversible outcome. Emma had chosen her favorite doll, while Olivia chose hers. The teacher had then placed them on a shelf for safekeeping during recess. But as fate would have it, when they returned from their outdoor activities, only one of the dolls was still there, and that belonged to Emma. The photograph now hung in Emma's room, but something felt off about it. It seemed different. The smile on Olivia's face appeared slightly more genuine than before, while her eyes seemed darker, almost sinister. As if she had been waiting for this moment all along. A chill ran down Emma's spine as she realized that the photograph was no longer just a memory, but a warning. Years went by and strange occurrences began to plague Emma's life. She would find Olivia in places where they couldn't have possibly met, always lurking in the shadows with an unnerving intensity. The photographs started appearing everywhere, on her fridge, in her room, even at school. Each time she saw one of them, a sense of dread crept over her, and she knew that it was only a matter of time before Olivia's presence became more than just a haunting memory. In the dimly lit room, Emily sat at her desk, staring blankly at the piece of paper in front of her. She had been working on this math problem for what felt like an eternity, and she just couldn't seem to get it right. Her teacher, Mrs. Johnson, was breathing down her neck, reminding her that time was running out. As Emily sat there, a faint whisper seemed to echo through the room, "One mistake, 1 second, 1 lifetime." The words sent shivers down her spine, but she tried to brush them off as mere paranoia. She took another deep breath and focused on the problem at hand. But just as she was about to make a crucial calculation, her pencil slipped from her fingers and fell onto the floor. Emily's heart sank as she watched in horror as her pencil rolled under the desk, out of sight. The whisper seemed to grow louder now, "1 mistake, 1 second, 1 lifetime." She felt an icy grip on her shoulders, making her skin crawl. Suddenly, Mrs. Johnson appeared beside her, a stern expression etched on her face. "You've made your mistake," she said in a voice that sent chills down Emily's spine. The room began to spin around her as the whisper grew louder still, "1 mistake, 1 second, 1 lifetime." And then everything went black. When Emily came to, she was standing alone in an empty classroom, with no sign of Mrs. Johnson or any other living soul. But on the desk where she had been working just moments before, a single word scrawled across the paper, "Mistake." The whisper seemed to echo through her mind forevermore, haunting her every waking moment. The small town of Ravenswood was never the same after that fateful day. It started with a simple mistake: a misplaced file on a computer screen, a forgotten password, and an unmarked folder left open for just 1 second too long. At first, it seemed like nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. But as the days went by, strange occurrences began to plague the residents of Ravenswood. People would find themselves in places they didn't remember going to, with no recollection of how they got there. Others reported hearing whispers in their ears when no one was around. As time passed, the town's inhabitants started to experience vivid and disturbing dreams that seemed all too real. They'd wake up in a cold sweat, only to find themselves back at home, but something felt off. It wasn't until the townsfolk began to notice changes in each other that they realized their mistake had set off a chain reaction of events. It was then that they discovered the truth: every time someone made a careless error, it created a ripple effect, altering lives forever. The town's residents were now trapped in a never-ending cycle of mistakes and consequences, with no escape from the horrors that lurked within their own minds. And as they looked around at each other, they realized that one mistake could be enough to destroy not just one lifetime, but an entire community.